Y'all ready for this?
I thought you guys were gonna go into Crazy Frog or some shit.
What?
You know, when
What?
Crazy Frog, that's sing.
Yeah, I know, but I thought you were gonna remix that
Bong. Shit. And you can see his little penis.
I have no idea. What?
Yeah, it's like... It's blurred
It's
in
like,
some versions.
Oh. I have no idea what to do.
Hey, come on.
Oh my god, every time.
Every time. Wonderful. What up, everybody? It's your boy, Travi.
Don't. Okay. I thought you were going to say something else. Oh, should you?
Hey, yes. Bam. Sick. Well,
it's a very visible clap.
Yes, it is.
We'll edit that out later.
Honestly, yeah, doesn't happen.
Everybody's listening to the podcast and it's
like, fuck! No, because I need it. So if I'm fucking around with it, then I have to cut it out. Right? Hey, what's up? We're talking about cars and collisions and bullshit. I was in a car accident the other day. It wasn't really...
So was Sophie. She was with you.
As dramatic as that sounds, it was I wasn't moving and some old lady had a bunch of snow on her fucking windshield and she didn't see anything and hit us. Because she fucking sucks. I'm sure she's a nice lady, but... Like, clean your car. Fuck.
Fuck. Yeah.
You know? And now I gotta deal with insurance, and I had to go to the cop shop, and, like, they were like...
Oh, yeah, how'd that go?
It was good. A lot of pictures, and, like...
What did they say?
They estimated the damage at, like, $1,500.
It might be.
Yeah.
I mean, my thing happened, like, 5 or 6 years ago, so costs might have gone up that much.
It says, like, they printed out a form for me to talk to my insurance about, but... Luckily, on my way home from the police station, my insurance adjuster called me. So I just dealt with it while I was driving. Hands-free.
Okay. I was like, we're literally talking about...
No, it's hands-free. Like, you just...
for drivers. Yeah. I get it. Yeah. My car doesn't have that technology. My car's pretty old.
We have the technology.
We have it. My poor car. I love that car. Yeah. And now it's sad.
I was panicking. When Sophie was like, we can't come, we've been in a car accident. I was like, what the fuck? And then I called and she didn't pick up.
It's so dramatic.
I was going on the Make It Home YGK app to see if it was collision at Princess and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And there wasn't anything and I was like, refresh. Like maybe it just they haven't posted it yet.
I know, I felt bad, but I was trying to call the police at the same time, and I was like, I just got to get that out of the way first.
No, I'm more important.
But
then it was a fender bender that happened before you guys even left your fucking parking lot.
Yeah. It sucks. I understand too. So it sucks. Yeah, it sucks, and there's not anything you can do about it, and I was talking to the insurance lady, and we were kind of actually just chatting at this point, and I was saying, basically, the lady who hit us got, super upset and didn't want to tell me her name and stuff, or her last name and stuff, and because she's an older lady. And the insurance person said she sees this a lot, too, with older peoples. They think they're going to be in, a lot of trouble, so they get, super defensive.
To the camp.
So I understand. I was mad about it before, but I'm not anymore about her not telling me her name and stuff. Yeah. But she's like, we'll find out anyway. She'll she has to do her part on the whole police.
You have the license plate, so it will come back.
And it's fine.
Yeah, now I feel bad for her. She was probably really freaked out.
She was quite shaken up, and she
you
felt
guys are
bad.
Way more sympathetic.
No, I know she felt bad. She's like, I'm so sorry, and she kept apologizing over and over again.
As she should have, because it was her own stupidity that got her in this fucking thing in the first place. It's just a little PSA. If you live anywhere where it fucking snows, you need to clear your whole car off. You can't just do the windows. You got to do the fucking roof. And I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear I'm too short. I can't reach. I don't fucking care. Get a brush that fucking has the reach. Because it's the law. And if it slides off the back and you can't see at the back, or even worse, it slides off the front, You're fucked. You're fucked, Brad.
Now,
Brad,
I've never heard
bro,
that as
fuck.
an excuse before. I'm too short to clean my
Oh, I've
car.
100%
Now-
heard that from people that have big SUVs. Like,
I've
well, I
heard that
can't
too.
reach. And I'm like, good. Have you heard
Maybe you
of
should've
these
gotten some
stores like Walmart and
Yeah.
Canadian Tire that sell these brushes that you can buy that are fucking long? Holy fuck, give your balls a
Now-
tug.
Speaking
Unfortunately,
Go get one.
I found the perfect slides.
Okay.
I was wondering what you're doing over there.
Unfortunately, though,
Torpedo
she
sleds.
didn't. It wasn't as if the snow slid off her roof onto her windshield, because you could clearly see. Okay, first of all, the windshield wipers were on top of the snow.
So she literally just went
She
wah, wah.
wiped where where her face was, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then she did try to tell me that that's what happened, but literally looking at the photo I took, I'm like, there's no way that you attempted to clean that off.
And even if she did, and it did slide in front of her, you just admitted that you. It is the law. Like,
Yeah,
they will
it
pull
is.
you over if you've got
Yeah.
a bunch of snow on the roof of your car.
Man, no, they fucking don't, because I see it all day, every day.
Well, I mean, they're not gonna pull over every single fucking car, but I follow Steve Koopman, who's he's a police officer in Kingston, and he's like famous. He used to go on CKWS News all the time, and they'd interview him, and he'd give you the play by play of any specific thing that was happening in the city.
Yeah.
Anyway, he posts pictures sometimes, like especially in the winter, of them like, I pulled over this vehicle today, and there's like a foot of snow on their roof.
Yeah.
And he'll like cite off like how much that fine is and everything, and sometimes he's like, I gave them a warning, and I'm like, not good enough, fucking $500 or however much it is.
I don't know. I stood there so angry, and what can you do? I'm not gonna freak out at this lady.
No.
I know you would get mad at her. And
I wouldn't freak out
But,
at her, but I'd probably say in the future, you should probably ensure that your car is clear.
Well, I
of snow
said that. I
before
said you
going.
need to make sure your car's cleaned off before you go places.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this happens, lady.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to explain how I still even feel about it. It's just so frustrating. But what can you do?
It's most frustrating because you did not actually do anything wrong.
No.
And your car is your bumper is cracked, but their car, and they
It's
were in the
fine.
wrong, is totally fine. Yeah.
Literally, you could buff it out on her car.
Yeah, you can buff that out.
Yeah.
Well, I know what you mean. It's a little bit different. I told you this already when we went for a walk, but I got rear-ended going down Division Street 3 years ago, and I pulled off into the A&W or wherever on the side, and she followed me, and there was not a mark on my car, not a mark on her car, and she was literally flipping out. She was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And she was younger, and I was just like, it's cool, man. I was like, don't worry about it. There's no mark, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And she was like, are you sure you don't want to exchange information? And I was like, no, it's fine. There's no point because there's no mark.
Yeah.
And I could tell that she was flipping out, really upset. And I was like, I was like, it's fine. I was like, but I did say, I was like, in the future, leave space.
Yeah.
Between you and the person in front of you. But yeah.
Yeah.
Any other stories about accidents?
I've got
a
I think
ton.
we've talked about some, your big one. We talked about that, haven't
My
we?
big one. Which one?
I think it was Christmas Eve or New Year's.
Oh yeah, we talked, but I wasn't
talked about
driving.
that. No.
That was somebody else. I totally I can tell a story about when I hurt my boss's truck. You weren't working there yet.
No.
So, this was a bad experience for me. So basically I work privately for someone, and if he dies, I'm out of a job. Okay?
Yeah.
So I was driving his truck downtown doing errands for him, and I knew that he was at a meeting in a certain building. It's the Homestead building.
Right.
I'm just going to say where it is. Downtown, and there's an ambulance outside of it, and his brother is standing outside of the ambulance.
So you're freaking
And
out.
I fucking flipped out. There was nobody behind me on Johnson Street.
Yeah.
And I slowed down and I rolled the window and I was like, Sandy, who's in that ambulance? And he looks at me and he goes, so-and-so. And I was just
Right.
like, okay. And then I kept driving, but it was too late. I was already up here.
Yeah.
And I had to pull over, and I was like crying, and I was like freaking out because I was like, in my mind, I was like, that was my boss in the ambulance.
Yeah.
So I took some time to calm down, and then I had to go up to KPMG, which is in that building that the K-Rock they broadcast out of, and it's got that weird like underground parking.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, I could always go under there with his truck, and it was totally fine, even though it says no trucks. I always cleared it, but this happened to be in the springtime, so the ground must have like heaved a little bit.
Yeah.
And I went under, and the whole rack of the truck caught on the top, and it ripped it.
Oh shit!
And I don't think they ever fixed it. I think if you go look at the truck, you'll find that it's still broken.
Really?
Yeah.
Like the work truck or
the
other one? Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then I cried even more, and I got back to the farm, and I was like, I'm so sorry, I thought you were dead. And he was like, what? It was like, there was an ambulance out there? And I was like, yeah, it's this person. And he was like, oh, are they okay? And I was like, I don't know. I don't fucking know. And he was just like, okay. He was like, well, thanks for caring so much. And I was like, trying not to fucking cry again. So I was like, still upset. And he was like, oh, don't worry about the truck. He's like, it doesn't matter. And I was like, okay. Fuck.
Do you have any, Sophie? Any
car accident ones? I think my dad's been in a few accidents, but I was never in the car with him. Except one time, I think they might have hit bumpers, like back bumpers one time when they were leaving a parking lot, like a Chapters parking lot, with some other couple. I don't know who's in the wrong.
That's a tight parking lot if you're talking about where the Chapters used to be.
No, this is actually one in Barrie, but I think all Chapters parking lots are a little bit tight. But I
that's
remember,
a rule.
Yeah, that's a rule. But yeah, so I think it was like a tiny hit. Like I don't even think it was worth calling insurance. Like I don't even think there was a mark. But I know that the lady, she was like, just don't listen to her. She's a bitch about my mom.
Oh god.
And I was like, hey, what's
happening?
And my mom wasn't even being like a bitch. She was just being, you know.
Well.
Yeah.
Sick.
I do have a funny story about when AAA had to be called though.
Oh yeah.
About so me and my friends went to Vaughan Mills this one time. This was shortly after the friend who was driving had gotten their license in their car, so we were probably like 17.
Sorry, that mic's just not picking you up for some reason.
So we got to Vaughan Mills, and it's just a whole carload of us, and we were so excited for some reason.
You're going shopping.
Yeah, shopping. Because the Vaughan Mills is really big, so if you're from a small town, that's like, wow.
Yeah, I went to the outlets somewhere over there once, and I was like, wow.
Oh my god. So my friend left her keys in the car running, and then we'd all shut the doors, and it was like, you know what your first car is like, oh, it doesn't have like the lock thing on your keychain. It's like, oh, make sure you lock the doors before you close the door. So everyone had done that, and then she left the keys in the car running.
Yikes.
I was like, oh.
Was that before the age of cell phones too, probably?
No, we had cell phones.
Okay. Well,
this was probably, I'm going to say 2010 or 2011.
Okay.
I would say. So we all had cell phones. Probably some of us had flip phones.
Sophie's not as old as us.
I always forget you're a bit younger than me.
So we had to call AAA so that they could come and like try to.
We don't have AAA, by the way.
What is
it's
it?
CAA.
CAA, right? Okay. So it was that. So we called that.
Because the first A stands for America. And
yes. I know now. Okay, that's fine. But we waited around for like a couple of hours, and like we couldn't go into the mall because we felt bad. Running? Well, yeah, because the car was running. Like, it would be different if we just needed to get the keys out, but it was fucking running.
Yeah, that's
She's
bad.
like, oh my god. And we tried to, like, you know, slip a necklace in there to unlock it kind of thing, but it did not work.
I used to, sorry, go ahead.
So I was just saying they came and they were like,
That happened to me, just in a related story. Like, I had to call CAA when I played Havelock, because I was stone cold sober, and I was fucking around in my car trying to get things organized, and the keys fell out of my pocket, and I had like locked the door, and they were just sitting in the back seat of my car, and I could see them, and I was like, no. And they had, but CAA, they must run into this all the time at Havelock. They were on site. They rolled up on a 4-wheeler.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he was like, "Oh, you lost your keys," eh? And I was like, "I'm sober." I was like, "I literally just played a showman." I was like, "I'm dumb. I'm just dumb.
I'm just stupid."
Yeah.
I used to do that kind of shit, but I learned how to actually like break into my car.
That doesn't surprise me.
So
Smash.
No, I just know a very good trick with a coat hanger.
What is it?
Well,
How do
you
you
just
do it?
unlock it. You get your fingers in the top and you pry it a bit, and you can run the coat hanger along the line until it gives, and then you can feed the coat hanger in and just fuck with the lock until it unlocks.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's easier on the ones that that have the pop-up locks. Those ones are super easy to do. What was tricky was my Jeep had the ones that you like push on the side, like what they normally are now, but it didn't have an electric lock.
My car still has the little nubbins that you push down. I mean, you don't actually do that. You just hit the button and it does it. But
so what I would do too sometimes, if I couldn't get it like that, I'd put the coat hanger in and like curl it around the handle, and you just pop it, and the handle will unlock the lock, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Breaking into cars.
One time our friend had to call CA all the way 400 kilometers away from where he needed to be.
Oh, fuck.
That was Ben. His truck broke down like 5 kilometers away from the chalet we were going to in Quebec. Do you guys not know about that?
No.
I know I've heard this before.
Yeah, because it broke down, and he was with Tom and Kevin were in the truck with him.
Yes, I do remember
And it broke down, and they towed the truck to the chalet. Yeah. And when I say the driveway of this chalet was literally like a 60% fucking grade, I'm not joking.
Were we there?
No. It was the year before we went.
This is like, I literally said this to Ben. I was like, I never want to stay in a chalet like this ever again. I want to see a picture of the driveway.
Yeah.
Like, there was no way, even if you threw your e-brake on, you risked falling down this driveway. Because it was just covered in ice. So no brake is going to save you from that. And it was just like this, like, I literally I had a lot of stuff in the back of the car, so that was helpful. Like, I had a lot of equipment and food and stuff and booze. Yeah. So I backed up the driveway, but I literally had to floor it to get up and hope that I didn't crash into Morgan's mom's SUV on the way out. I made it, but I was like, I never want to have to do this again. But I knew I was going to have to do it again because we were going skiing the next day, and I was like, I'm going to have to get up this hill again.
Well, wait, the last 2 chalets had driveways like that we went to. The one we went to when Sophie and I got engaged had a really steep spot, and then it leveled out. And Tom,
it wasn't too
but that's down and in. This was up, just up.
Oh, to get to it, it was up.
It was just up, and they hadn't salted the driveway or anything.
And Tom's problem is he didn't have snow tires.
And the last chalet was like that too. It was super steep, and then it went like that, and then it went super steep again.
I don't remember it being real steep at all.
Where were we last time?
We were at that one with the guy who just kept showing up, which you can't do.
No, but that was steep, and then it was like flat at the top.
Yeah, like at the top though. Like
but there was what I'm saying is there was no top.
Oh, it was just all the way steep.
It was okay, so there was a top about the size of this desk, and once you were there, that's where the house was. So there's no wiggle room.
Oh,
it was you get to the top and fucking hope to God that you have enough space to stop and not slide and hit the house.
Are you allowed to have like chains in Quebec or like studded tires?
I don't know.
Because you can in Newfoundland.
We don't make you pasteurize your cheese, so.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Related.
Also,
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Just for anybody who's listening who owns like an Airbnb, legally you can't just show up in there. You can't just go in when somebody's renting from you.
Yeah, and he did it more than once.
This guy just showed up.
He was just chilling. I honestly, if we're calling, like, I don't know. I'd rather that than go to a chalet where they literally have not shoveled the driveway or sanded anything and left you with no equipment to do so.
That's literally horror movie vibes for me, though. People just like coming in to. What if we were all sleeping and he came in?
Lock the door.
He probably did.
Doesn't matter if we did lock the door and he just let
lock the
door.
I don't don't know.
No, they didn't.
It wouldn't matter if we did because he just let himself in.
And I didn't stay on the ground floor for that reason. I was like, they'll go for ground floor.
Legally, you can't do
Did the
that.
bedrooms have locks on them? I don't remember.
I don't think so. I tried to convince Sophie there was a camera in the bedroom. It didn't work.
Yeah. No, every time I've stayed at a chalet with like our friends, like no one's ever locked the door at night, and I'm just like,
usually we're in the middle of nowhere, so
which is worse for horror movie vibes.
Still, I'm just like an instinctual like lock. Yeah, I lock my door, lock the car, like
yeah.
Mm-hmm. I even locked. I just lock the door all the time.
Yeah,
I'm always locking doors. Speaking of
I love locking doors.
So you said studded tires, and that reminded me of the time that I was in Iceland with Devin, and we rented a car, and because you have to get around the island.
Yeah.
And I think we only had like 4 days left, maybe, or maybe 3 days. It doesn't matter. We were nearing the end of the trip, and I don't remember what happened exactly, but we pulled in somewhere, and it sounded like something was rolling around in the wheel well. And I was like, I've heard that sound before. And I said to at first I thought we had run over something, like a pop can or something.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I don't think so. Like, I didn't feel us run over anything. And I was like, okay. And I thought about it. I was like, oh, you know what? Sometimes when Britt's truck has been sitting there for a long time, shit gets stuck in the wheel well. Like squirrels will leave acorns and stuff like that. Right. I was like, I think that's probably what it is. And that is what it was. Okay. Mm-hmm. For like 2 days, we just hear it. It'd be like clank, 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 but you couldn't hear it when you were going really fast. And that was fine. And then one day, the last full day that we were there, we're fucking driving around Reykjavik, like trying to soak it all in, like the last shit. And Devin's got this like the Northern Lights tracker on her phone. Yeah. And she's like, they're supposed to be really good tonight. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, we should drive out to the lighthouse in Reykjavik and see it. And about 100 other people in fucking cars had that idea too. Yeah. So we get there, or we're on our way, and the car just starts making the most ungodly sound that I've ever heard a car make in my whole fucking life. Really? And I was like, what is that? And this isn't our car. And you know, leading up to fucking Iceland, I kept reading these horror stories about people renting cars and just getting totally fucked over by the car companies. And I'm like, oh my god, like we're fucked. We fucked the car. I don't know how, but we fucked it up. And we're in a lineup of fucking cars trying to see the Northern Lights, and our car is just like I don't even want to make the sound. No, it wasn't the belt. It was like coming from the wheels. Oh, really? I know what a belt sounds like. I don't even want to make the sound because it's so loud. Okay. Like, yeah, it's not like a belt. It's like it literally sounded like someone was like running their chalkboard, but also like banging something at the same time. Anyway, it turned out that a rock like this big, like the size of a toonie, circumference-wise, was wedged in between the brake pad and the rotor.
How did that happen?
It was in the wheel well and it got flung up. So every time, if it was just right, it would make that sound. And then I came in and they were like, oh, you should have had studded tires on this whole time. and they threw them on after they took the rock out. So I had studded tires at least to drive back to the airport. But because, yeah, we ran into, I don't remember, I think just one snow fall.
Did you see the Northern Lights? Yeah. Sick. Were you like, wow.
Why didn't you have any pictures of them? I don't remember seeing on your Instagram.
They weren't like what you see on.
Oh, okay. Like in movies and stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure like that does exist, but we never saw any of that. Okay. We saw it was really like intermittent. Like, oh, there they are, and then they're gone. Oh, there they are.
It wasn't like this big for 10 minutes.
No, I wish.
What is it?
Isn't it like gases and stuff like?
It's not gases. I think it's the way electrons are interacting with the atmosphere. But I'm not positive.
That sounds right.
When I was a kid, I'd go to my aunt's house, and I swear to God, I saw Northern Lights.
You don't have to be up north to see them. Like, you can see them from here. Yeah. If there's you could look it up, because sometimes there's a dark sky viewing area out in Lennox and Addington. Yeah. Like, towards Bon Echo. Yeah. And where there's, like, no light pollution at all. And people will go there to view the Northern Lights because you can go look it up. Like, what are my percentage chance of seeing them tonight where I am? And it will tell you.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So then I probably have seen it then.
Yeah.
In Roblin. So it's like on the way to where that viewing area is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we go in my cousin's
no
backyard.
Light pollution.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wintertime kind of thing.
Yeah.
The result of disturbances in the magnetosphere caused by solar wind.
And the force.
These are sometimes strong enough to alter the trajectories of charged particles, such as electrons and protons, mostly precipitate in the upper atmosphere. Okay.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw them one night when we were at we were near that waterfall that everybody takes pictures of, actually. That's where we were staying. And we saw them intermittently that night. We did see them in Reykjavik that night, but I was in far too much of a panic to pay attention to what was happening.
Also,
I don't know
what's Winnipeg.
Okay.
Upper Winnipeg.
Pardon?
I think they're pretty good. Sorry, not in Winnipeg, in Manitoba.
Yeah, in like Churchill.
Yeah.
It sucks, like, if you wanted to get a good picture of the Northern Lights, you pretty much have to set up a tripod with your camera.
Yeah.
Because if you shake just a little bit or move ever so slightly, your shot is ruined.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I just thought it was funny. They were like, "Oh, you picked up this car like 10 days ago, and they didn't put studded tires on it." I was like, "Yep, should they have?" Yeah. I was like, "Oh, okay." That would explain why I was driving like 20 kilometers an hour over the snow.
Yeah. Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Been a passenger in some car accidents, but I think I might have talked about this. Once I hit a dog too, or no, I didn't hit the dog. My mom hit the dog. But I was in the car. That was pretty scarring.
Did you have to like...
It ran off. I don't know where it went. But like it was like not a good show. And then we called the cops and then they came and went looking for the dog and we just went home.
That's sad.
Yeah.
We hit a deer on the 401 going like 120. Yeah. Well, my dad did, but I was in the back.
Jesus. It shattered the windshield and all that?
No, it just destroyed the whole front of the car, but they fixed it. Like, it wasn't even written off.
Really?
But there were hunks of deer, like, flesh and fur in all the grill of the car. Yeah. My dad handled that very well. Yeah. He smacked into the deer and just, like, course corrected and then pulled over.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It was very scary. Not like me when I crashed my car.
So when you crashed, like, during the crash, did it, like, slow time for you?
I lost time.
Oh, did you? You just blacked out?
Yeah.
I see. Because, like...
Both times I've been in big accidents. The deer, I wasn't paying attention. Like, I knew that we hit a deer, but by the time I realized what had happened, we were already pulled over.
Yeah.
But, like, when I got in the accident when I was, like, 14, I blacked out.
Yeah.
And when I crashed my parents' Toyota, I blacked out.
Yeah.
So.
Because when that happened, it was, like... slow motion. I was like laying on the horn and I was putting it in reverse and I went to hit the gas and by the time I was hitting the gas she had already hit us. So.
Yeah. No. When I was driving to work, I used to live at my parents' house, so I'd have to take Joyceville Road to work. Yeah. I don't know how familiar you are with Joyceville Road, but I was driving south and there's this sort of bend right before the train tracks. And it had snowed a lot the day before, but this morning it was really sunny, but there's still a layer of snow on the road because they don't plow it for shit out there in Joyceville, usually. Just as Devin said, like, they didn't even plow her parents' road the other day.
Like, just so at all?
I don't think so. Not until, like, 6 o'clock at night.
Jesus.
Anyway, I rounded the corner, obviously going too fast, and I fishtailed, and then I tried to course correct it. And I overcorrected it because I panicked. Yeah. And I just spun out, and that's when I blacked out. But then I was going south, and I wound up facing north, and I was, I crashed against, like, a rock cut.
Oh, shit.
And the whole, like, front end of the Camry was just, like...
Shit, that sucks.
Like, it had impacted here, and it went, like... So the car was written off.
Yeah.
And, of course, it was, like, minus 20 outside. And I'm kind of a dink in that way when I go to work. Like, I don't wear a hat or gloves. I'm just like, let's just fucking go because you're in a warm car. So I was like freezing and nobody fucking stopped. People were driving by me and I'm bawling my eyes out and the car is clearly crashed into a rock cut and 5 cars drove by me and didn't stop. And then finally some guy that worked for CN who was obviously going to fix something at the train track, was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "No, like no." And I couldn't find my phone because it had like flown. I usually like set my phone at the top, like there's like a little place to put it in my car. There was the same thing in the Camry, so on impact it went somewhere. Yeah, and I couldn't find it.
Fuck.
And he let me sit in his truck because I was fucking freezing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I called my brother who wouldn't pick up his phone. So my parents were down south. They weren't even in the country.
Oh no.
And it was their car.
I actually went off the road in my Jeep once, but then I just turned around and went back onto the road. But there was like, it was in like near Tweed anyway. And it's like a back road, and there was literally like a 90-degree turn, and I hadn't been on this road before, and all of a sudden I'm in like a cornfield. So I just fucking turned around and got back on the road because I was driving a Jeep. But
I like drifting around, especially downtown if there's no cars around. Like if there's a bunch of snow on the ground and you turn a corner and your car goes woo.
Yeah,
I like doing that.
I was doing that on the Gator today.
I wouldn't do it at work.
Tokyo drift.
Well, you can't help it. So
yeah, okay, fair enough.
You just know what you're doing and you're fine.
Just know what you're doing. And
like just don't overcorrect.
Yeah. tell that to a poor 24-year-old Jen, or 25. I don't remember how old I was.
Yeah.
And then Adam had to come because the police had to be called, obviously. So Adam comes in the work truck, or it was the other truck at the time, the truck that Hank destroyed. I'll tell that story next.
Right.
And he's like, okay, well, we're just gonna go look and see what the speed limit says around the corner, so you can get your story straight.
Yeah. For
the cops. And I was like, okay. And it's an 80. He says, okay, but it says caution 60 around this corner. So how fast were you going? And I was like, and he goes, 60. And I was like, 60. I guess.
Yeah.
But they never even said it. The cop showed up and I was still crying, and I think he was like, go home.
Yeah. Did you go home or did you go to work?
I went home. Yeah. I went home and cried in bed all fucking day. It was my parents' car, and I fucking wrote it off.
Yeah.
They were down south. My brother was still living at home too at the time, and he was like, he luckily for me dealt with all the insurance and the police because I was like in a state.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then every time I saw him for the rest of the day, I'd come down to the kitchen and I'd start fucking crying again. He's like, oh my God. He's like, please stop. Like, Dad's, because I knew my mom wouldn't care. Well, like, she'd care, but I knew she wasn't going to be mad.
As long as you were okay.
Yeah, but I was convinced that my dad was going to, like, fly off the fucking handle because my dad's quite stern.
Yeah.
And my brother was just like, he's just going to be happy that you're alive. And I was like, okay. And then they got home, like 5 days later, and all the insurance information was laid out on the table when you come in. And my room was upstairs. And they got home at like midnight. My mom like ran into my room. She's like, Jennifer, are you okay? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, what happened? And I was like, I crashed the Camry. She's like, okay, but you're okay. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, okay. And then the next morning, I came down and I was like being really fucking like slinky about, I don't know, I didn't want to come down and face them, and my mom was like, you just come down, like stop being stupid. And I came down and my dad was like, it took your sweet fucking time coming down to the kitchen this morning. And I was like, ah! I just like started crying again. And he was like, oh my God, did you think I'm gonna like lay into you? And I was like, yes. I did.
I think it's so funny, like looking back at like yourself when you were like in that situation or another situation,
ago, really.
And it's like, what is your dad gonna do? Is he gonna like shoot you? Like what's he gonna do?
I thought he was gonna scream at me for being so stupid.
Even then though, like he's screaming because he cares, right?
Yeah.
So like
I guess I don't know.
When you're young, you're like, oh my God, like this is the worst thing that could ever happen, right?
Anyway, it was all fine. They actually got I think they got like $16,000 for that Camry.
Nice.
Like from the insurance company. It was pretty
That's
good.
pretty good actually.
But so this is in a related story, driving around Joyceville. Fucking Hank. So there used to be another work truck. It was like an even older version of the exact same fucking two trucks that are currently at work. It was like a 2009 Nissan Frontier, and it was really blue, like the color of my microphone. And I was doing work one day, and all of a sudden the power flickered. And I was like, oh, it was strange. I didn't really think much about it. And then 20 minutes later, Adam texts me, and he goes, if you wonder why the power went off, it's because Hank hit a pole. And I was like, what? Anyway, Hank had literally just turned out of the driveway, and maybe 200 meters down the road had flipped the truck.
What he was saying?
And
like
it was
something
summertime.
It was summertime. What happened?
There was like papers that flew everywhere and shit, and like it.
That's
like
so drama.
He said, I believe him. I'm not saying that I don't believe him, but this is what he said. I wasn't there. But I do believe him because that truck was a mess. Just like the work truck now is a mess.
Yeah.
Like there's paperwork fucking everywhere. Like I have to use the work truck every now and again, and I get in and there's like masks everywhere.
Yeah.
And like empty coffee cups and fucking paperwork, and I'm like, how do you live like this? But so Hank said that there was paperwork all over the place and all the windows were down, and it was just flying around. So he like turned around to grab them to settle them.
Yeah.
And in that moment, settle
down.
down. In that moment, he like, because this is true. Like if you're not, you should try it sometime in a big open space. If you look a certain way, your body will instinctively go that way. So he went like this, and it went right into the ditch and hit a pole and flipped.
That's crazy.
And of course, somebody took a picture of it and put it on the Make It Home YGK, and all the people had a field day pontificating about what possibly happened. On his fucking phone, going too fast.
Right. People in Kingston are unbearable.
They
Oh,
are.
I'm like that too. Okay, so like here's me guilty, right? Like when I'm driving around and I see somebody with like a dented bumper and shit, I'm like, what an idiot running into people and stuff. And now I'm the guy driving around with a dented bumper.
What an idiot.
So it makes, you gotta think, right?
Yeah.
This goes with your not being mean resolution.
Yeah, this is
right?
part of my New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
Also being nice to that lady. Even though she hit my car.
But there was actually a witness. I don't know if you know the houses I'm talking about. It's right near the farm.
Yeah.
There's like those houses that are in that low-laying area of land right before Britt's
like,
property.
Yes.
Like where we go in to meet your parents.
Yeah.
Anyway, some lady saw it happen, and she like corroborated the story. She was like, no, he wasn't on his phone or anything. She was like, he looked like he was looking in the back seat, which is still distracted driving, but
Yeah. Likely story. Well, do you know anybody at least? Who's?
Do I know anybody?
Oh,
I
do
know a lot of
do
people.
you fucking know anyone? Like,
do you have any friends? Any stories from high school? Like,
are you looking forward to driving, Sophie?
Are you happy that it's winter?
Am I happy that it's winter? No. Well, yes, but I like winter. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what does that have to do with it?
It's a joke from some of the guys say it at work, but it's from like a comedian anyway. It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. Cut that.
Yeah.
Cut that trash.
When do you think you're gonna go for your test?
In the spring.
In the spring.
It's all gone.
You should go to Napanee. I've heard it's better.
Okay, I'll do that.
Wait, why?
Around Napanee.
I've just heard that they're a lot more lenient.
Damn, maybe. I mean, everybody is on crystal meth in Napanee, so I'm just kidding. Not everybody. If you're listening and you're not on crystal meth, good for you.
Good for you. You've done it.
Yeah.
You made it.
You made it.
If I have any stories. There was that time that Ben drove me to basketball. This was like last winter, and he knew there was something wrong with his truck. And there was something wrong, like the wheels weren't turning right. Or maybe that happened as we were going down that hill.
No, didn't he run out of gas?
One time he ran out of gas.
That was a different time. But this time it was like his wheels locked weird as he was going down the hill to get to Marie Riviere. And then we're like, oh, we just won't worry about it. And it was a late game. It was like a 9:00 game or something.
Yeah.
And then when we left, he couldn't even get farther than that Tim Hortons. That's really there because his wheels just completely locked.
So his tires locked.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
I don't know.
Broken shit. I don't know.
It was a Nissan truck, right?
But I had to come.
Hey, how dare you? The Nissan at our work is fine because we take care of them. Well, we take care of Britt's one that he drives in the winter.
Yeah, so I wouldn't pick Sophie up, And then there was another time that you guys ran out of gas.
Yeah, his gas gauge was broken, so he couldn't tell how much gas he had. So we were leaving the Memorial Center, and he just ran out.
So I had to bring them. I had to bring them a jerry can of gas.
Yeah. That kid, honestly, he's been in more accidents than anybody I know.
Yeah, he was telling me about it one time. He's like, I've been in so many accidents, and I was in the passenger seat, and I was like, ah.
He's like literally like, no offense to Ben, but like I wouldn't get in the car with him. Like after, like he's been in like 5 or 6 accidents where he fell asleep at the wheel.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucked.
I'm not too worried about that because we mostly just go short little distances. And I'm always blah, 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 blah. So.
Yeah, like when he drove to Toronto, like for your birthday, I was like, I don't like it.
I don't like it.
But I have road rage, straight up.
You do.
I do.
Yeah.
Well, but I also have road confidence. Huh?
You're a bit of a crazy driver.
I'm not crazy.
An angry driver, that's all.
Angry driver. I don't know. I'm not as scared that when I get in the car with Kevin, I'm scared.
Yeah.
I like that we get places really fast.
I worry that Kevin's driving a lot.
I've only been in a vehicle with him once and I was scared shitless. Everyone was like, you know, it was just very scary. I was like, I want to get out of this car immediately. Like, jettison me out the window.
Yeah.
At least, like, I know that I'm like, I drive fast, but I do not drive fast in the winter. Crash a car in the winter, you'll never drive fast again in the wintertime.
Yeah.
But in the summer, I drive appropriately fast. I don't think I go like him, like crazy fast. But I do get pissy. Like, I'm from the country, so like if you're on a backcountry road and it's all windy and there's nowhere for anybody to fucking pass you, and you're going under the speed limit, it's etiquette to pull over and let that person pass you.
Yeah.
And people will just like go super slow, and I will tailgate you. I don't fucking care. Move over. Like you're being a dink.
Yeah. I don't tailgate people.
Well, do we have an Am I the Asshole?
Wait, why don't you tell the story real quick about when we both had to get to an exam in like 20 minutes and we went downstairs and someone had broken into your car the night before.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
That's not an accident, but yeah,
It's car related.
Somebody legit broke into the car and like cut themselves in the car and bled all over like the center console.
Dirty blood everywhere.
Ew.
And
like,
they tried to jumpstart it. And they stole weird stuff like CDs.
They stole my CDs and my sunglasses.
Like cheap Walmart sunglasses.
Yeah.
Sick.
I'm like, all right.
It was rough. And then that day, it wasn't. I didn't have to get to an exam. I had a doctor's appointment.
No, you had to go to an exam, and so did I.
Because I was in Picton that day, and I got pulled over by the cops.
I don't think this was the same day. I think maybe you're confused. It was in December, and we had to go to exams.
But I got pulled over by a cop, and I had to explain. Maybe I had a doctor's appointment after my exam, but I was definitely in Picton and got a ticket that day. And I explained to the cop why my car was such a fucking mess.
Maybe you just hadn't cleaned it up yet, and it was like a few days later.
Maybe. I would have cleaned the blood, though. I think I cleaned the blood right away.
Yeah. Well, he cut himself on, you know that thing that comes out of the center?
No.
It's like sharp. What?
I don't know.
And yeah.
I don't know
Anyways,
what you're talking
that was that shook
sucked.
me.
Stop.
Still got like a 90 on my exam though.
Nice. Even though it was shook, I got 90.
I was so shook, but I got like a 90.
I don't even remember any of my schooling. I'm just kidding. I do remember it all.
Why are you saying that like someone's gonna bust you?
In case somebody listens, a potential future employer. And they're like,
Yeah, I guess you're right.
does he remember any of his school? Yes, I do.
Well,
I don't remember my marks, though.
Sometimes it comes back to you, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I don't remember all my marks, but like I remember when I got like 100 and stuff.
Yeah.
Like 99s, right?
Right.
I saved it. Am I the asshole? And it must have gotten deleted.
No, you can't find it.
No, I saved it.
I swear I did my homework with my dog.
I did. I can give you the Sparks Notes version of it if you want.
No, I want full or nothing.
Well, I'll tell you the Sparks Note anyway when I'm looking for a good one.
Okay.
It was basically, she got pregnant, but her friend wanted to get married. And she was like, you can't be pregnant during my wedding. She's like, you'll be all pregnant in the pictures.
Fuck you.
And she was like, okay, well then I don't want to be in the wedding. And she was like, you're a fucking asshole. And she was like, you got pregnant on purpose. She was like, yes, I did.
What? That's so stupid.
That's crazy. You got pregnant on purpose. Yeah.
Yep.
Why would you care if somebody else was pregnant?
I don't know.
In your wedding?
She said that she would look like fat and gross in the pictures and stuff like that. And I was like, you're very clearly not the asshole. Maybe that's why I got deleted.
Some people,
Maybe,
some people post shit on there so that people will be like, yeah, you're
Validate
clearly,
me,
you're in the right, don't worry.
But guess what? There's
sweetie.
always going to be someone who says that they're in the wrong, right?
Yeah.
Some crazy person. Crazy.
Of course, I wouldn't want that in my wedding, fat bitch.
That's disgusting. Did you see? Oh, I mean, we could quickly discuss that Cosmo.
What?
Front cover.
What is
the
it?
UK Cosmo front cover. Oh, well, they showed a...
You're literally the only one who knows what you're talking about.
That's fine. No, keep talking. No, keep talking.
It was just the past time while Jen is looking
What is
for
it?
one. Well, they put on the cover of the UK Cosmopolitan, it was a morbidly obese woman doing a yoga pose. And they said, this body is healthy. Ooh. Right. So people are mad about that. So the thing is, it's a whole campaign on the inside, because I read it afterwards, and it's not just about people who are morbidly obese, but there is one person who's paraplegic. You know, she still works out and stuff like that, and another is a little person who's like a swimmer kind of thing. But the point was like, yes, those people are healthy, but someone who's morbidly obese, even though maybe they don't have problems with their blood tests and stuff like that now, and we know that it's called morbidly obese for a reason, right?
Yeah.
It's not simply being like 20, 50 pounds overweight. It's 100, 200 pounds. So.
Yeah. As someone that is fat and has been like, I mean, I am technically still obese according to BMI. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with saying, like, love yourself for being bigger.
It would have been so much different. It said, like, this body is beautiful.
Yeah,
right?
there you go. This body is beautiful. But you can't say this is healthy. No. I literally have fucking liver disease because I was overweight. I have a fucking tumor on my liver that could be related to that also. This is pretty heavy for the listeners, probably. I'm not that scared about it. I've got an appointment tomorrow with a surgeon. Anyway. But, like, I probably wouldn't have liver disease if I wasn't overweight for, like, my whole life. Right? Yeah. Like, because my liver disease is not from drinking. It's from fat deposited around my liver. So... Yeah.
They said there was another point, because they've come up with research now that says obese people in particular are more susceptible to COVID. So it was funny that was coming out of the UK. So, like, you're saying this is healthy, but you're saying... Yeah. People are going to more likely die from COVID because they're overweight. Well, yeah, so,
you're like, your cardiovascular health isn't where it should be.
Well, to be fair, it's not the same person saying both things.
Yeah, that's true.
I know, but like it's two different messages being put out there.
Beauty at every size? Yes. Health at every size?
Nah.
No. And that's the same if you're underweight. Like, it's not healthy either. I've got a really good Emma the Asshole that I forgot about, and then once I saw it again, I was like, amazing.
Okay.
5 stars. Holy fuck.
Here we go.
Okay. It's just so fucked. Okay. Am I the asshole for taking my husband's property and comparing my husband's strange hobby to infidelity? This title is incredibly misleading. Okay. Ready? Go. My husband and I have had a rocky marriage and are going through a divorce. I have long suspected him of infidelity because he travels constantly, leaves at weird hours when home, and even had 3 different women file police reports against him a few years ago.
Red flag.
Red flag. Charges got dropped, and I eventually believed he was a victim of a witch hunt and moved on. We tried to be civil for the holidays for our respective children. We each have 2 children from previous marriages, but none with each other.
That's good.
Okay. Yeah, that is good. My daughter was with her boyfriend on Christmas, but came home for New Year's Eve. My husband was still at work while we were getting ready. I needed some red wine to make some sangria and asked my daughter to go get it out of my husband's room in the cellar, where he stores our alcohol. She came back 10 minutes later and looked really worried. I asked her what was wrong, and she handed me a small pouch. She said that she jostled the liquor storage cabinet a bit and it fell to the ground. Apparently, it was tucked between the liquor storage cabinet and the wall. She opened it up and showed me what was inside. It contained 8 women's driver's licenses. I noticed that they were all from states that my husband had traveled recently for work in the 2 years before the pandemic. He is a medical device salesman.
Oh no.
I was worried that he had been a serial adulterer and got these women to give him their driver's licenses as trophies after having sex. I brought it to my lawyer's office today and gave it to her secretary, who said she'd pass it along Monday. I was hoping this could be a smoking gun of proof of our infidelity for a divorce proceedings. I confronted my husband about it this afternoon. He said that he had a confession. He said that he had a fetish for driver's licenses and would buy them from random women when he went on trips. He admitted it was bizarre, but said there was something erotic about holding something that left someone else feeling so vulnerable. I said that I was upset and that was very creepy. I said it was also like cheating on me to get off to some weird fetish like this without sharing it with me first. He got very upset. He admitted that he should have been more open about something that he was struggling with, but that it was completely out of line for me to accuse him of cheating based on this. He also said that he would burn the driver's licenses in the furnace later that night. When I told him that I had given them to my lawyer already, he completely lost it. He said that I had no right to steal his personal property like that and couldn't even be around me. He packed some clothes, got into his car, and took off. Based on what he said and packed, I get the feeling he won't be coming back. I'm not sorry he left, since I can't stand him these days. However, I partly feel like he had a point that I shouldn't have compared his weird fetish to cheating or given his property away to my lawyer when it might be evidence of such.
You just completely lost the plot. He's a serial killer.
Right?
Obviously.
The worst part about all of this is that she never responded to any of the comments.
So she's probably dead.
She's probably fucking dead.
Oh my god. Maybe it was like a bait and she's like, people are gonna think I'm dead if I post this. This is great.
Just a completely
like it didn't happen, and
I can't even believe that's where your first thought is like, oh my god, he's cheating on me. Like, no, these are trophies. They're dead.
They're definitely trophies.
I can't believe she wouldn't have like I would have looked up those women.
So
to see if they were missing or something, right?
If this is real, they deleted their account, like their Reddit account.
I wonder if it's maybe just not real. Like, this almost sounds like it could be a plot of a movie.
Yeah.
A bad movie.
Are you cheating on me? No, I'm leaving forever. Just kidding. I'm hiding in your closet.
So why do you think you'd be so mad when she turned them into the lawyer? Because he's like,
yeah.
What a story. I have a fetish for licenses.
That's messed up.
I don't like that.
People are like, this is fake. And I'm like,
It could be, yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it is.
I hope it is too, because if it's not, that woman is probably dead. Because they never responded to any of the comments.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yikes.
That's crazy.
Yikes.
Yeah. That's better than the pregnancy one.
Yeah.
Yeah, way better.
That's nuts. I don't know. I don't even know. It's got to be. I hope it's fake.
I hope it's fake, but at the same time, like, I've read so many fucking true crime books where, like, the partner of the killer is so goddamn oblivious to everything that's happening around them.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh no, it's probably fine, and I'm like,
it's because women are stupid.
or you're just being gaslit to shit, and you're just like, no, he loves me. He's just going through some sort of driver's license fetish.
You know what? There's something we forgot to do in our wrap up of 2020 episode. What was your favorite Am I the Asshole in 2020? What really sticks out is
I think I like it's not a very good one, but I like the hiking one just because
that is a good one.
Just because like it's so stupid.
Kickoff's in 30 minutes.
Yeah, let's go.
Or maybe the one where the lust for life or whatever.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah. That one was the good
Girlfriend
one.
is such a lust for life.
Oh, the neckbeard guy, yeah.
I can't handle it. She's always like, wow, look at those trees. I'm like, that's literally me, so fuck you.
My two favorites was the guy jacking off into the drains in the shower.
Oh,
and
wow.
then the one where the guy got the really cheap engagement ring.
Oh,
and tried to make him break up with her. Yeah.
That was a good one. There's just too many good ones.
Those are like, oh, I love those.
I'm really glad we decided to go with Am I the Asshole?
Yeah. What were we doing before?
The petty thing.
Petty thing, and we did alien news, but there's only so much you can learn.
There's only so many aliens in the news. Have you ever... There's a bunch of subreddits that are kind of like Am I the Asshole where things happen?
Yeah.
Like, there's Reddit relationships.
Yeah, I do like r/relationships.
Yeah, that one's a good one. Or, there's like a toxic parents one that I follow for no reason because my parents are not toxic.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's fun to read other people's problems.
I followed a Karen one, and then this person like posted a clearly fake story, and I called them out for it being fake. And we got in this big argument that lasted days, and I feel like a troll about it, but also like don't make up
me.
Yeah.
There's somebody that tries to troll me all the time. I'm part of like a liver disease subreddit, and like people will ask like what they should be eating to like cure their liver disease, because you can if it's not surpassed a certain point.
Yeah.
And he'll be like, his username is like Keto MD first of all, and he'll be like keto, and I'll be like, don't listen to this fucking clown, like don't do that. And he will respond like 4 days later and be like, did you get a chance to read that thing that I sent you? And I'm like, no, I'm not. No,
fuck off.
Sorry.
People, that's the thing too. It's like, I was part of a conversation the other day, and I literally had to say, you know, people can say whatever they want, can make up anything. You don't have to believe it just because it's out there.
Do you think someone would just go onto the internet and tell lies?
Yeah. Sorry.
Why would they
but
do that?
Just because you read it doesn't mean it's true.
What's that from, Arthur? When Buster's like, do you think people just go on the internet and tell lies?
Maybe.
Okay, thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.